Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, November 12th. I'm Julie Prince with the details. In the news tonight, former Chief Agricultural Officer Fillmore Isaac says there is something amiss in relation to Leon Biggs Samuel and the revocation of his license to mine at Rabaka. Speaking at a news briefing today, it was stated that no activity of Samuel's mining operations met the threshold of an environmental hazard. Additionally, Isaac explains that there are some fundamental values that persons must not lose sight of, which include the equality before the law, freedom of the individual, and justice.
Law-abiding persons, and we are governed by laws. And the company has followed the letter, and we are at pains to do what is right. It is evident. Having received that, if there was any objection, the law allows for an appeal. The minister of the Physical Planning Board, if this company had appealed the decision, but if you're given approval, there's no need for an appeal. He did it in the first instance when the environmental issues were raised, and he went and had various dialogues with everybody. In this case, there was no need for an appeal. So if there was an appeal, the minister would approve an individual or 3 individuals, not more than 3, the law provides for that, who would listen to the case and then present to the minister. The minister would then make his rule based on the findings of that tribunal.
And agronomist Clive Bishop says that the issue has to be looked at from a development perspective of the country, noting that deliberate actions were taken to discontinue the operations of a local company which directly employed over 60 people.
60 breadwinners in 60 homes, which is technically supported purportedly technical reasons, which is technically unsung and methodologically unsung. Now, in any developing country like ours, a board which is the Planning and Development Board, which is supposed to be the highest authority to approve development in this country, must be operating with tools which are clear, transparent, so that everybody can see what is happening. In this process, there is no indication in the notification to close this business which is related to any documentation that was ongoing.
Meanwhile, Biggs Leon Samuel says what upsets him most about the situation is the fact that he is no longer able to properly support his children.
They should have been in natural also to take over from me naturally. The boy you can see there, he has 11 subjects, and he's also a graduate of the community college. Both girls, they are twins, and they are also graduate of the community college, just waiting to go off to university, all 3 of them. But at this time, because of the situation I am in, I cannot do it. And to see, I would have made the provision all up in life to educate them, and I did it as a single parent. Right now they are suffering because of this situation, and that's all I want to do, is to be a businessman and to continue to be a businessman. So the technical part here today, I refuse from speaking. Let them have this hill, let them speak. They are the ones who are trained in every area, and everyone who speak here today are trained and know what they were saying in the field and which they spoke. So that is exactly what I want to say for today at this time, okay?
In other news, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has seen an increase of some 4.7% in monies collected from vehicle licenses as at September 2014 when compared to the same period for 2013. Prime Minister Gonzalez explains that at the end of September 2014, the government collected $7.99 million, whilst last year, for the comparable period, $7.6 million was received from vehicle licenses. Prime Minister Gonzalez states that his government expects to collect just over $10 million from vehicle licenses for 2014, and he explains that while some are of the view that such monies should be used for road repairs, such action is not practical.
We have 400 and something almost 500 miles of motorable road in the country. To repair a mile of road, the roads I'm talking about is main road, village roads, secondary roads, feeder roads. To repair, not to build. To repair a mile of road is at least $1 million Eastern Caribbean. So that when you give me $10 million for vehicle license, it could only repair 10 miles of road, maximum. And if you have to put some bridge inside of it too, and so on and so forth.
Trade information is extremely critical and essential to guide the business decisions. That's according to Minister of Foreign Affairs Camila Gonzalez. The minister, who was absent at the opening of a 3-day workshop on the World Trade Organization Reference Center yesterday, had a speech presented by Director of Trade Cuthbert Knights. In his speech, Gonzalez said trade information assists research in academia and contributes to policy making at different government levels.
Heard from Mrs. Shakarian what really is the reference center, and I know that that is something that might be going through those of you who sit here might be going through your minds. I just would like to let you know and to repeat that, as was noted, the WTO is really a physical place, but it's more than a physical place. It has a physical presence. Important to note is that since its inception in 1995, the World Trade Organization, the WTO, the Secretariat has established approximately 150 reference centers in over 100 countries. Now, these centers are available in Africa, Latin America, Asia, Caribbean.
In the speech, Minister Gonzalez said the reference center is a dedicated physical location open not only to government officials but the public as a whole.
The center is open to the entire public, where any relevant information in the WTO can be accessed via the WTO internet site, and information is available on CD-ROMs in print format as well as electronic format. In some countries, RCs are housed in different locations. As we noted, our reference center will be housed right here in this ministry, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Commerce and Information Technology. The RC would require dedicated staffing, and the staff will be trained on the access and use of data and act as a focal point for the WTO Secretariat.
With just about a year to go before elections are constitutionally due here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the hype among Vincentians continues to build, and leader of the governing Unity Labour Party, Prime Minister Dr. Al Gonzalez, told members of the media earlier this week that his party will be moving shortly to bring all speculations to an end in relation to its full slate of candidates to contest the upcoming general elections.
We have in the month of November several constituency conferences scheduled. For instance, we have the one for South Central Windward. We have the one for East St. George. We are having the one, I think it's early December, we are having one for South Windward. I can't remember the date for North Windward. But we're putting together everything, and then two in which we didn't win and there are no candidates who are named, but we will be moving shortly to bring the speculation to an end in West Kingston and also in Central Kingston.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Girl Guide Association Centenary magazine will soon be made available here. The reminder came from President of the association yesterday while speaking at the Centenary Parade in Kingstown. Ms. Renabati says the occasion has been a very historic one, and it is very fitting that the association has a remembrance magazine. Additionally, the Girl Guides president notes that the association has a series of other activities for the remainder of the year.
The publication of our centenary magazine, which will be available sometime next year, because we want to capture some of the celebrations this year as well. So they will be available sometime next year. Throughout the rest of the year, there are activities that you will continue in your calendar right to December, remembering our sharing and Thanksgiving for Christmas.
Meanwhile, Ms. Batiste expressed her gratitude to all who participated in yesterday's activity.
A very special thank you to the volunteers who made sure that the little ones had popsicles and water was available here. Thank you to the parents and our well-wishers who came along to ensure that we have assistance on the route. A very special thank you to Royal, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force Band for accompanying us on our historic centenary parade.
The Carnival Development Corporation has commenced the search for delegates to participate in the 2015 Miss SVG pageant. Miss SVG 2015 is slated for Saturday, May 30th, and will be held under the theme, A Combination of Passion and Brilliance. The CDC states that interested females should be between the ages of 18 and 24 and should have completed secondary and tertiary schools. Interested persons must also be single without child and must be able to attend all CDC training sessions and events. All rural queens are encouraged to apply. Completed applications must be submitted to the CDC's office along with recent 4x6 portrait colored photo, birth certificate, a one-page biography, and copies of all their qualifications. Emerson Shepherd, a welder of Camden Park, was ordered by Magistrate Carla James to be of good behavior for the next year after he was placed on a bond in the sum of $2,500. A fine of $500 was also imposed upon him to be paid in 1 month. If he fails to pay, he will spend 2 months in prison. These came after he was convicted on 2 separate charges of threats and offensive weapon on Josie and Pompey of the same address. Reports are that on October 31st, 2014, just after 7 p.m., Shepherd went to a shop in the area and saw Pompey sitting in her porch. It was during such time he took a knife and pointed it in her direction, threatening to kill her. Not long after, Shepherd and Pompey's father had an argument. Pompey is said to have immediately reported the matter to the Kitels police station, resulting in Shepherd's arrest. In more court news, Seymour Mackey, a 27-year-old laborer from Mariacor Valley, now residing at Redemption Shops, was last Friday sentenced to a 3-year jail term. This after he was found guilty on 2 separate charges of gun and ammunition possession without the relevant license. The court heard that on February 5, 2014, members of the Rapid Response Unit acted on certain information and carried out a search warrant at the house where Mackey resided. 1 12-gauge shotgun and 1 round of ammunition was discovered under a mattress. In other court news, 2 brothers in Kevin and Jarvis Chance of Camden Park will know their fate at the next available sitting of the criminal session on a joint charge of attempted murder. The order was given last Friday by Chief Magistrate Rishon Brown Matthias at the conclusion of a preliminary investigation, court news. That's a preliminary investigation. The brothers' charge stem from an incident last year at a liquor and provision shop in Camden Park when they inflicted cutlass wounds to the neck and the left hand of Omari Latin following a dispute.